All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Tyler Chrestman, and welcome to the Chrestman Conversation. We are currently sitting at January 2nd, 2026. Welcome to the new year. And this is basically the last in what winds up being about a 3-week hiatus towards the end of the year for the news. It's basically like all the politicians go home, everything kind of stops. We don't talk about the news. We talk about other fun things and try and have a little fun here. So this year, on the podcast. We did this. I've done a couple of these, I think, at least in the past. I know I've done at least one, maybe two, about how much I really enjoy New Year's resolutions. And so this year, I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to steal the title from this video from my friend Jake Lancaster. Shout out to Big Red. We have basically a tradition where we always are really big on our New Year's resolutions. He started a group for us called the Accountability Mirror. I don't know if he stole that name. I like the idea, though. I'm going to steal the name for the title of this. But basically, here is the idea. I'm going to read off my list of personal New Year's resolutions. And the next year, in January, we're going to go back through, and I'm basically going to put myself on blast if I haven't accomplished at least some of the things on this list. I'm not saying I'm going to get to all of them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm going to try my best this year to actually do the things on this list. These are things that are important to me. They are things that I gave some thought to, some of the goals. So, for example, in 2025, I didn't do as much as I wanted to do this year for my accomplishments. I can make excuses. I know the beginning of the year, last year I should say, was a little rough for me. I had some sickness that basically lasted for the first quarter of the year, and then I had it wound up being just a high-grade strain, but I hurt my rotator cuff in October. And so October, November, December, the end of the year, any physical goals I had, I wasn't able to do jiu-jitsu. I wasn't able to really work out too much. So going into this year, I'm at a perfect spot to really start building back. Anyway, this year, 2026, my goal is to accomplish the things on this list. And then in 2027, when we do this episode next year, I'm going to go through and we're going to talk about the goals. And I'm going to make a challenge to each and every one of you at the end of the video. But first, I want to read off my goals for the year. I got 10 of them. So I want to finish writing number one. I want to finish writing my third novel. I've written 2 novels in the past. The first one I feel like is very difficult. It might not ever get published. The second one is actually number 2 on the list. I'm going to continue to send my second book to publishers. So the publishing process, for those of you who are unfamiliar, in the United States, it is an antiquated process. It is unpleasant to deal with. I don't like the idea of having to sell myself. It's not really what I excel at. Despite all this confidence and bravado, I don't like having to sell myself. I want my work to speak for itself. I just don't enjoy it. It makes me feel weird. So the process of trying to get a book published is one that is off-putting to me, although I'm making it a goal this year to actually try and get this book published. It's pretty good, I think, if I can say so myself. The select group of people who have test read the manuscript enjoy it. They said it's good, and I'm working on getting it published. So, number 2, continue to send that second book to publishers weekly. Number 3, I want to make a goal to at least once a month host a dinner party. So, my family is very close. We like to get together a lot. I want to make an effort to host some of these things and have people over, friends, family, make an effort to get all the people I love in a place where I can catch up with them and be involved in their lives at least once a month. I feel like that's a very easy goal to accomplish. My schedule doesn't always lend itself to being off on a particular day or a particular time, but once a month, I should be able to make that happen. Okay. Number 4, I want to get to the next belt level in jiu-jitsu. This one has been a goal of mine for a while. Like I said, I really wanted to do it in 2025, and I never got on a path where I felt good about my consistency going to jiu-jitsu. There were different times where I was consistently working out, but not one where I was consistently making progress to get better at fighting, which is something I want to do. So my goal is to get to the next belt level in jiu-jitsu this year. After that, I'm going to run a marathon. I've done basically, okay, so I say this with a little bit of an asterisk. So I limped my way through a marathon at one point. It was not great, not good. much more difficult than I thought it would be. So I thought I could do a marathon with no training. Now, you're able to do it. The reality is you could get off the couch and go do 26 miles. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. Doing it well is difficult. Doing it at a run or a jog is difficult. So my goal is I want to be able to run a marathon. And I feel like I can do it this year. I've been getting more into running the last couple of years. I haven't run for about 10 years. When I hurt my knee about 15 years ago, I stopped doing distance running. I used to run about 5 miles every day just when I was boxing and doing all that stuff. And I got away from that when my knee started to bother me. But I've really been running more in the last 2 years than I have in probably a decade. And I think it'll be fun to run a marathon. Going with that, the last one of my physical goals for the year, get my body fat between 10 and 12%. So part of being hurt the last 3 months of the year, I'm getting a little too hefty for my liking. I imagine I'm somewhere around like a 15 to a 17, which is really heavy for me. I need to cut that down. I need to consistently stay between 10 and 12% body fat. Read 2 books a month. That one should be pretty easy. That one's a good one to have for everyone, by the way. Read more. 2 books a month is a pretty easy goal. There was a one time when I was just trying to do a book a week. That's too much. I feel like I was reading books just to say I read books instead of reading books because I enjoy it or reading books to learn. I was just reading books to just say I read books when I did that for a couple of years where I was trying to read 1 book a week. 1 book every 2 weeks is fine. If it's a good book. Now, if it's a short book, you can read 2 books in a week, but excuse me. But what I'm trying to do, so for example, I have Michael Knowles' book sitting on my desk here. So this book is it's 300 pages. And if I wanted to read that in a week, I could. I'd have to make an effort to actually sit down and read every day and do things, and it'd be fine. But if I'd read that over 2 weeks, it's easy. You'd read that book in 2 weeks if you really just put it in 30 minutes to an hour a day in of reading, which I try and do at night. So it'd be fun. This would be a good, when I'm reading a lot, that's the goal, is to just basically get in bed and read for an hour before bed. It gets you off the screen. It helps your sleep quality. And when I read before bed, I do sleep better. So my goal is to just start doing that more consistently because the last year, again, I haven't been the best about it. And I didn't read as many books this year as I normally do. So my goal is to spend less time on the computer, more time with my books because I can make all the excuses in the world, but I need to read more. So 2 books a month, easy. I want to visit a new country. I want to make that a goal basically every year. I want to do a trip, visit a new place. Sometimes it doesn't need to be a new country, I guess, but do a vacation to somewhere different. I don't like the idea of doing vacations to the same place all the time. They're fun to visit places you love and do things that you love, but I like the idea of going to new places, and it's really something I enjoy when I travel. So I want to visit a new country this year. That'd be a fun one. I think I've been to 5 or 6. I don't know. Don't want to count right now, but I've been to a couple countries, and I would like to expand that into more. I have a health one on here. I need to get my neck examined this year. This is a big one for me. I have an injury that I have neglected for a while, and I got all my checks for my tumor in my head and all this different stuff that I needed to do the last couple years. I've been really good about doing things that I need to do, except for my neck. I need to get my neck looked at this year, and I'm not going to put it off. I'm going to try and do it to get that one knocked off. And the last one, I want to do more interviews and start this Bible series I've had the idea for on the podcast. So interviews are going to start coming. I know I've been saying that for a long time. They're going to happen. I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to me to come on the show, and I think I'm just going to start accepting offers from people who have something to say. So, authors and politicians and people who are in the interview space, they're doing rounds for whatever the purpose may be. So if you have some sort of qualification that I find interesting or you just seem like an interesting person, I'm going to start doing interviews. And the Bible series is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I have a couple books behind me. Some of my favorite books. I don't know. You won't be able to see them. So right there, these two books on the shelf that I'm pointing to. You're not going to be able to see them. Dennis Prager has written a series called The Rational Bible. It is one of the best things I've ever read. And if you have a moment, it's going to be the top of my recommendation list. He goes through the Old Testament line by line by line and basically writes about everything written in the first 5 books of the Bible. It's fantastic. But those 2 books, each of them, That's Genesis and Exodus. So they're 500 pages each, 600 pages each. They're long. People aren't going to read them. That's really, you don't write a Bible commentary to get rich. Dennis Prager has said this. My idea, and you can find all this stuff. You'll find hours-long discussion on Genesis, Exodus. Jordan Peterson did a series about this for the Daily Wire. It's really good. You can find anything about religion. So what I want to do is, because this interests me, is I want to take basically each chapter of the first 5 books of the Bible, and I want to reduce them into a YouTube short summary. So the idea is, this is not going to be an in-depth analytical discussion. What this is going to be is some rationale for why things are the way they are, an overview, first of all, of the chapter, and then some explanation as to why that chapter is important. And some of these things are going to be harder than others. For example, Genesis chapter 1. Trying to reduce that to a 3-minute video is going to be very difficult, but then there are other ones that are going to be a lot easier. So for example, when they build the tabernacle, then, all right, you're going to be like, all right, well, this is the kind of wood, and here's the thing, okay, you could do that in 3 minutes. Genesis 1, you could probably do, and I know this because people have, you could write essay upon essay upon essay. You could write an entire book about Genesis 1:1. That's it. You don't even need to go through the chapter. You could do an entire book. So basically, that's the goal. The goal is to do these little videos and just have fun with it. And because it's something I'm interested in, something I enjoy. So I want to start that this year. Okay. So those are my 10 goals for 2026. I think they're important. I think they're important for me. They are things that I really want to work on, things that I really need. I got some physical goals, some podcast goals. I've got some writing goals. I've got some fun goals, like the traveling and the jiu-jitsu. Those are fun things for me. Those are hobbies. And I think when you're making your list of resolutions, you should make some financial goals. So you'll notice I don't have any financial goals on here. It's not that I don't have goals financially. It's just that I'm very comfortable. So there's nothing I want to change going into this year. I do a very good job with my money, so it's not for me. But here's what I think other people should do if these are things that you're concerned about. You need to make financial goals. You need to make goals about your health and wellness. You need to make goals about your hobbies, things you enjoy, things that you like. And then you need to make some career goals like none of these are necessarily career goals for me, but the writing and the podcast, I consider those like jobs. They're like jobs to me, even though I don't make a lot of money doing them. So there are hobbies that I consider more work than just hobbies. Like jiu-jitsu is just a hobby. And running a marathon or visiting countries, travel, these are hobbies of mine. This is something else. This is a hobby. I love doing it, but this is something different. So anyway, those are the things that you need to focus on when you're making your list. You need to make a list of your resolutions and focus on things that you want to change in your life. And here's another thing I'll say. You need to be specific with your goals. Don't say, I want to be healthier. That's a lame goal. It's not a lame goal, but it's a lame way to phrase the goal. You need to be actionable. You need to have specific things that you want to change in your life that you can do. Don't say eat healthier. Be specific. What does that mean? What does that look like to you? Be specific when you write it down. Don't just say, I want to save more money. Make a goal. How much money? How much money do you want to save a month? What are you going to do with it? Whatever it is. Be specific, be actionable, and be accountable. That's what this is about. The Accountability Mirror 2026. This is about putting and I guess this leads into what I was going to say. The challenge for the year. Here's what I challenge you to do. And what I'm going to send this video to people, but if you're just watching it at the end, here's what I challenge you to do. I'm going to, in the captions, write down my list of goals for 2026. I challenge you in the comments to write down your resolutions. And in a year, I'm going to check in with you. And I'm going to ask you how you did on your goals this year. In the comments of this video. We are going to bring it back next year on next year's video. So my challenge for you, write your resolutions down. Put them in the comments of this video, and I'm going to hold you to account next year. That's why we're calling it the Accountability Mirror. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I wish all of you luck coming forward in this new year with your goals, with everything in your life. Hope everything is great. And I will see you guys for a regular episode of the Chrestman Conversation next Friday.